Hey, family. I wanted to get on tonight because I wanted to talk to y'all, those that are struggling right now with getting over heartbreak. I am Kim Love Jones. I'm a certified relationship coach, and I just jumped on here to have a little conversation with y'all tonight. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. I need to share this live in my group. Let us see. Let us see. Let us see. I need to share it. I am posting it in my group right now. Yeah, I am excited to talk about this with y'all tonight. I think that it is incredibly important to talk about struggling with heartbreak. And I want to talk about um, why it's important for women to rebuild their confidence after heartbreak. That's what I want to talk about tonight. It is very unfortunate that a lot of times we get into these relationships and we don't see the handwriting on the wall. Like we don't see how a particular person may or may not be good for us until we're done, right? When we have worn ourselves out and allowed ourselves to go into a frenzy over the loss of the relationship. We are so tired. We get so frustrated and we begin to feel like we are not enough. And I'm not talking because this is something that I read in a book. No, no, no. I'm not doing that. I'm talking from the perspective of me actually living this, right? I've dealt with it time and time and time again. And the unfortunate thing is that because I've dealt with it so many times and felt like I was in love so many times, right? Even though I wasn't, I know that now. Um, Part of the reason why I struggled so much with my heartbreak is because it made me feel a particular way about myself, right? Like if it didn't work, why? And was it my fault? So when I talk to women around the idea of heartbreak and healing, I talk to them about this from the perspective of, you really want to say hello, say hello. I see you watching. Say hi. I don't bite. Then your mama tell you to don't come up at people's house without say hello. I think I'm hilarious. I say that all the time. Anyway, my point is that it's always difficult for women to work through whatever it is, the heartache, so that they don't repeat the same cycle all over again. Hey, Dre, I see you watching. How are you? I'm glad to see you here. We got to catch up. We got to do our little talk, Dre. You know how we got to do. I might catch up with you tomorrow if I'm not too busy. We'll holler. I'll holler or you holler, right? But yeah. That part, yes. So when I think about um, how to deal with heartbreak, how it makes us feel, a lot of times in the initial moments of dealing with the heartbreak when the relationship is over, we kind of feel like worthless. We feel like we are not enough. We feel like, we might even think about some things that we could have done differently. But the initial phase of heartbreak is anger, frustration, right? Um, hey, good evening, my sister Fran. I see you. Good evening, good evening. Yes, I'm glad you're here, sis. I love you. I love you so much. So, dealing with that and trying to reconcile what has happened to you and the things that you've dealt with, right? The things that you tolerated when you knew that you shouldn't tolerate them, the things that you allowed and you kept dealing with over the years or the months or whatever time period it was for you, right? And you think back about all of that, and sometimes you get angry because you realize that they never really had the capacity to love you. And so a lot of times we will stay stuck because we struggle with how to deal with it. And the other part is we will then begin to erect fences all around our lives to say, you know, I don't ever want to feel that again. And we be speaking this stuff into existence in our lives. And that's the truth. So we struggle because, let's be honest, we struggle because we knew that we should have left way before we actually did. And we just kept telling ourselves over and over and over again, like, we going to work through this, like, we going to get through this, like, okay, so they're difficult, but I'm going to work through it. But you were trying to work with somebody who wasn't trying to work with you, if that makes any sense. So I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination that we won't go through things in a relationship, because you always do. You have differences of opinion. You feel a particular way about a particular subject. Um, they don't agree. You try to compromise, but this is more than about it being just as simple as a compromise. This is dishonoring all that you are to stay in a relationship, and then dealing with the heartbreak and the fallout of that when you do not honor who you are and what you need, right? So we struggle with heartbreak because they could have been the one. That could have been the person that you were going to marry. That could have been the person that you spent the rest of your life with. At least that's how you saw it in the beginning. But part of the reason why the heartbreak comes, I see y'all watching. I see y'all watching. Say hello, say hello. Part of the reason why the heartbreak comes to begin with is because you're dishonoring who you are and what you need for you. You haven't met anybody, and whether it was family, friends, oh, y'all would make a good couple. And then everybody's like, oh, when are you guys going to get married? And when are you going to when are you going to do this? When are you going to do that? That kind of thing. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. And they're good enough. Mm, they're good enough. They will work in a pinch. They solid. I kind of know that I could depend on them, but we don't agree on a lot of things. And then you then begin to contort yourself into a pretzel to fit what they think the narrative should be. This is the truth. I know. I lived it. I lived it. I did. I really did. I have nothing else to say but that I actually lived this. I wasn't in love with them though. I thought I was. But at the point when I started compromising myself and contorting myself into a pretzel, I should have known then that if I'm not loving me, I don't really have the capacity to love anybody else. So, of course, that's changed because I've done the healing and I'm doing that body of work in my own life. But the reality is that a lot of us will find ourselves in that place where we are truly struggling. After it's all said and done, we want to kick our own behinds because we didn't listen to what we knew intrinsically was our truth in the midst of all of that. I've heard countless stories of men and women actually who have gone through the fire. And, if you're only hearing one side of the story, you got his story, her story, and then you got somewhere in the middle, the truth, right? What actually happened between them? What actually went down? And there's a lot of things that people don't say. And you have to kind of read the room, right? Because if it's going to work out, if it's going to be okay, if you're going to get through this, you got to read the room. As I'm listening as a relationship coach, I have to read what they're not saying as well as what they are saying, right? So that I can deduce it to whatever it needs to be in that moment. But I'm telling you that there are people who don't understand the role that they played. And so sometimes we struggle to get over the heartbreak. Sometimes we really need to refine our footing. We need to get to the point where we begin to honor ourselves, right? So a lot of times the reason why the breakup breakup like really hits us in our head is because women especially, women especially, we then begin to define ourselves by what we do in the confines of that relationship. We're wives, we're mothers, we're nurturers, we're givers. And we think a lot of times if we can give enough, if we can section off parts of ourselves, right? Maybe then they'll accept us. Maybe then they'll change. That's what women do. I'm not saying it's right, but that's what we do. And we break off the very essence of who we are to conform to what other people want. And this is why we struggle with the heartbreak. Can I tell you, and this is a real jewel, and I'm going to drop it right here, right now. People don't respect you when you contort yourself to them. They only respect you when you have a healthy sense of self dignity. So in other words, the more you let them do what they do, the less respect they have for you. You ever told somebody, I'm leaving if you don't do this, this, that, and the other? I mean, back in the days when I used to be manipulative and I thought that that was love and I didn't understand. Well, if you don't do this, then that means you don't love me. And then I wouldn't go anywhere. I'm leaving. Really? Don't talk about it. Be about it. That's how the conversation ends up going. Whether they articulate, whether they actually verbalize those words or not. Because you can say all of the things you want to say, but unless you are honoring yourself, they are not going to honor you. And that's the reason why we struggle so much with heartbreak. We struggle because we have poured out, emptied ourselves into the relationship and trying to tell people to just love us. And then it's love us, please. Love me, please. So by the time women get finished contorting themselves and fracturing little pieces of themselves off to try to fit the mold of what somebody else wants, by the time the heartbreak comes, you are devastated because you know that you did everything that you could. And I'm talking about good women who just ended up with people who didn't have the capacity to love them. I'm not just talking about, these women that are for the streets. I'm talking about good women who came home every day, cooked, cleaned, did cartwheels and flips, did the best she could in the bedroom and everywhere else, trying to make sure that the house was a home after she worked 9 to 5 and take care of them kids. That's what I'm talking about. I'm saying that we have emptied ourselves. And so by the time things are not working out, I see y'all watching. Say hello, say hello. By the time things are not working out and you get to the point of really separating, sometimes you like good riddance to bad rubbish, but other times you don't feel like you ever were enough. You feel, and I don't know if y'all could tell the passion, the place that I'm speaking from, because I live this. I live this. Hey, Mitch, I see you, my love. I see you. Hey, Mona, I see you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Y'all share this video out. Share it out. Share it on your page. I love y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Right? I lived it where I continue to reduce myself for my marriage. And so not only was I dealing with the devastation of my marriage, I was also dealing with the devastation of how I allowed myself to be treated. And I can tell you that the first thing that we experience after when we're dealing with heartbreak is we're trying to reconcile back to ourselves what we allowed. Because truth, we might not have seen it in the beginning. But we begin to see how our voices weren't heard. Or like we didn't really matter. You know what it's like to be with somebody who treats you as if you don't matter? It's a painful place to be. And you stay for the sake of the marriage. So then when you go back and you're trying to get your footing together, finding yourself again. And we accept it. Yeah, absolutely, Mona, for the sake of our love and our care and our nurturing and the things that we do for what we feel like is the love of our lives. I'm going to let y'all in on a little secret, and I'm not trying to be funny. I don't believe that you can love anybody until you full out love yourself. So every experience that I have had where I have reduced myself on my own to appease somebody else doesn't look like love to me. And while I might have been infatuated and I might have created a great deal, I cannot count that as love. Because love sets you free and it helps you to soar. So now imagine me now going through the process of trying to heal and try to get better, right? And I'm dealing with the anger that I feel going outside the venom I'm spewing towards him. Because I ain't feel hurt. Because I didn't feel the love. There was nothing for me to reciprocate. How do you reciprocate what you're not getting? It's impossible. When I started to realize that my voice didn't matter, that what I wanted didn't matter, I should have knuckled up then. And I don't mean in the physical, but I should have been standing my ground. And not to be divisive or argumentative, but I should have stood on principles of love, respect, and honor for myself. So you know how we get to the altar and we be like, we're gonna cherish and we're gonna obey and we're gonna do all the things. We're gonna do all the things. We're gonna do all the things. We're gonna be good little misses. You can't be a good little miss to somebody who doesn't even respect you, because eventually, if you back somebody into a corner, they're gonna come out swinging. Because it's not reciprocated. What we want to pour in, what we want to get. So I'm just taking y'all on a little journey because I want you to really truly understand that, again, I'm not talking from a book. I'm talking about the things that I've allowed to have happen in my life. And then I had my heart broken, right? And I needed to figure out, how do I work through this? So there were some things that I needed to work through in order for me to get to where I needed to get so that I can be a better person, first for myself and then for everybody else. And all of the times that I flew back and forth wherever I was going, and I heard the stewardess on the airplane say, put the oxygen mask on your face first. It wasn't registering with me in a practical way for my own life. So when I got finished spitting fire about who he was, that same passion and that same fire, I had to return right back to myself. Because I needed to work through this. There were some questions that I needed to ask myself. And that is one of the hardest things to do. This is why I teach what I teach. That's why I stand 10 toes down on what I believe today. So I had to learn how to take care of me. That's one of the things that you do when you're getting over heartbreak. You got to pivot. You got to course correct. You got to deal with who you were being, not just who they were being. And in fact, here's the truth. It doesn't matter whoever they were being. They're actually doing you a favor when you are walking around dishonoring yourself and trying to plead for somebody to love you. You constantly pouring, right? Yeah, I know y'all following me. I know y'all tracking with me. I know you are. Here's the deal. I had to sit with myself, and it took me years to heal. Because just as passionate as I am about relationships and about love, now I am equally as passionate about healing. Because what I realized is I wasted a lot of years being angry, needing to heal, but refusing to do that body of work because there wasn't anything wrong with me. I thought it in my own head. And one day I had a conversation with God. Oof, I'm sharing with y'all. And I promise you, the conversation was bananas. And it was like I was standing in front of a full length mirror, butt naked. And I saw every fat pocket and every roll that I had. And it wasn't pretty. And God began to reveal me to myself. He began to show me that you got to pipe down. I need you to work through this within your own self first. And I waffled a little bit. I did some things that were, not in alignment with who I was trying to become, if that makes any sense. But the reality of the situation is, when you struggle with heartbreak and you then have to deal with yourself, the other part of it is you just want to run to undo. Like you want safety, so you run sometimes away from the healing part because it's too much for you to deal with in that moment. Hey, Daryl, I see you, my love. How are you, brother? What do you do when you're single and tired of carrying on with life alone with no spouse and it's just you and God? You pray. That's what you do. You get involved in activities, community projects, your passion, you find your purpose. And that's why, in a real way, y'all, if I could tell you, I'm so glad, and this is what I was coming to. I'm so glad that happened to me. Because although it took me a long time to learn, and I'm always trying to teach people how to expedite their healing now, if it were not for that, I don't know where I would be. It took me to heal in order for me to get to this place where I begin to love myself. And I began to do the things that honored me, what I needed for me first. Honor God, myself, my children, my family to the best of my ability. But the reason why it hurts so much is because you then begin to realize that you are allowing them, right, to do whatever it is that they wanted to do to you. And you didn't have a standard for your life, and that's how they got in to begin with, right? So it gets very frustrating because the process will have you on an emotional roller coaster as you're working through it. So we need to work through the heartbreak, and we need to position and realign our thoughts, course correct, and do things differently so that we can get to the other side. Know your worth and don't let others define you. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. When the relationship ends, though, you often feel lost and you often wonder who you are without them. What does your life look like without them? Right? Who are you? If you don't have your husband or your wife or, a significant other in your life, right? The other part, and I talked about this already, is we will have thoughts like, why wasn't I enough? Did I do something wrong? You begin to doubt who you are and how that shows up and impacts you in your relationship is crazy, right? But the reason why the healing is important, because once you work on your healing, you then open up the door to have a healthy relationship. So everything that I do now is around healing, because after talking to so many people over the last 15 years, since the Emotion Forum started, I realized that part of the reason why people are not in healthy relationships is they just keep dragging their own self-doubt, their lack of confidence, what they need and what they want to the next relationship. People are erecting fences and they are expecting someone to climb the electrified fence to be in relationship with them. And that's horrible because unhealed hurt often whispers lies that become your inner voice. And that's the truth. When you don't deal with who you are, when you don't deal with what's really going on, the negativity begins to plague you. It begins like, oh yeah, and ain't nobody no good. And these people, all they want to do is get over on you. And then the other side of that is, am I even enough for someone? Will somebody ever see me again? You don't feel good about who you are and about how you show up in the world. Like, really. And it is important to understand the reasons why you need to heal, right? The reason why you need clarity, the reason why you need confidence. And it's not in just how you look, it's how you let people treat you. And if you think for 2 seconds that people can't feel your energy and they know when you are dishonoring yourself, all people have to do is listen. My son, I'll never forget, my baby boy told me, Ma, you're not hard to figure out. All people got to do is say to you, I want to read a book. He said, Ma, people know you love to read. So if a man wants to get to your heart, what is he going to tell you? We should read a book together. Like that's like almost the sexiest thing a man has ever said to me in my entire life. My son said to me, Ma, you're not hard to get to because you like intellectual men who have good conversation, who are smart. You like, he's not a baby. Now he's 30, but he's my baby boy. And he's like, Ma, really? But do you honor yourself? Do you honor yourself? Are you doing the things that you said you would do for you? Are you 10 toes down for you? Never mind anybody else. Are you willing to do what you need to do to teach people how to treat you? And if you falter in that, don't think that people don't pick up that energy. Hey, sis, I see you. I see you, my love. My sister's on here. Hey, Al, my sister here. My big sister. Yes, yes. You say, yes, I is. Yes, I is. I love you. So yeah, like if you really begin to think about, right? If you really truly begin to think about the things that you have allowed in your life, and here's how you're gonna really get over the heartache. I'm coming to your comment, Willie. I see you. The way you really get over your heartbreak, this is the way you really get over it. Begin to take responsibility for what you've done. Begin to acknowledge your role in it. I know that is very difficult for a lot of people because we blame people for being mean or nasty or treat us badly. But when you don't know when you're young and there's things that happen in your life and you let and things happen because you didn't really know who you were and you thought that everybody would treat you good and they didn't, and they were abusive or they weren't, right? They just emotionally didn't treat you the way that you needed to be treated. They didn't know how to love you because they didn't love themselves, right? The same premise by which I stand on and what I'm talking about right now, right? They didn't love themselves either. They didn't understand that, you know, that I would be a blessing to them. They didn't know. I didn't even know, right? So when I think about that, right? Being angry with them for them being who they are is foolish. It's absolutely foolish. To be angry with people for them not showing up for you in the ways in which you want them to show up for you is nonsensical. Like, they can only show up and be who they are. So the moment that you acknowledge who you were in that space and acknowledge that you are not the same person that you used to be, that was who you were 5 years ago, that was who you were 10 years ago. You do not even have to argue or fight or be angry. You shouldn't even be dealing with people like that. And you still stuck. You got a whole fence erected that's 20 feet tall in the air. And it's electrified and nobody can get in. You're not gonna let anybody in. Like, why would you let somebody in? Because all they're gonna do is hurt you. It is the stinking thinking. It is not learning who we are. It is not elevating our God consciousness. It is us not understanding the role that we play in our own lives. It is us giving away our power. Hey, Val, I see you. I love you, sissy. How are you? It's good to see you on here. It's us not owning our power, right? And some people just think I could just move from one relationship to the next relationship. Y'all share this video out. Share it out. Share it out. Not going to be on here much longer, but share it out anyway. Right? I'm going to continue. I'm going to continue if I'm angry about who somebody else is and what they did. I am continuing to give away my power. And if you are going to heal, you got to make a decision that you're going to take your power back, because your strength is in you taking back your power. Your strength is not in the arguing and the fighting to prove. Sometimes your greatest strength is in being still and praying and asking God to help you mend the pieces of your broken heart. It's that part, right? A lot of times we don't understand that we are actually the villain in our own story. Well, Kim, how is that so? I didn't do anything. I was a good wife. I was good to him. I treated him good. I fixed him dinner every night. Why are you saying this? Oh my God, Kim, you have lost your mind. No, Pumpkin, I haven't. You could be the best thing since sliced bread. And that's the truth. But if your picket is broke, if you don't honor yourself and you tie yourself to somebody that doesn't have the capacity to love you because you're not loving you, if you own that, at the very least, that's a clean slate. No harm, no foul. I own what I did. I own the fact that I wasn't able at that time to even show up in the fullness of who I am for myself. The other thing I did was I was always trying to please everybody. I was always trying to be somebody's friend. My mother used to say, "Girl, if you somebody gonna bust you upside your head," because she said you're just so naive, just want to love everybody. And she never said to me, "Love yourself." She never said that. Hey Tara, hey Tom, I see y'all watching. Y'all can say hello. Y'all can say hello, say hello, say hello. Right? And then being upset and not doing the things that you need to do for you. Trying to accept everybody and, oh no, it's okay. No, it's not okay if it dishonors who you are. It's not okay. What makes you think it's okay? I know for one thing is for certain, I'm never contorting myself to be what somebody else wants me to be. I'm going to be who I need to be for me first. So we struggle with heartbreak and we struggle with the fact that no matter what we did and what we tried to do, right, that it wasn't enough. And it was only not enough because we weren't full of ourselves. We weren't loving us. It was only okay because it'll do. It beats a blank. But that same love that we want to pour into everybody else, start healing so that you can pour it into you. And it's a rough road. I'm going to be honest with you. It's rough. But it is a necessary journey. On May the 10th, I am having the Unlocking Your Love experience. I'm going to be celebrating the sisters. It's the day before Mother's Day. It is going to be at the Platoish Park Restaurant and Catering Hall in Franklin Square. And it is going to be absolutely amazing. And I want to see all of you there. Hey, Tanya, I see you, my love. I love you, sis. You know I love you. Yeah. And I want all of my sisters to come out. My brother already said he coming through. He's like, Kim, I'm coming. I don't even care if I'm the only dude there. I'm coming through. He's supporting me in that. And I appreciate him. But I want my sisters to come out because what we're going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about being authentic and showing up for ourselves. And we're going to be doing all of these amazing exercises. And I don't mean physical exercise like the gym. I'm talking about, these exercises on paper, right? And we're going to be talking and we're going to be discussing and we're going to be healing and we're going to be working on ourselves. And it's going to be absolutely amazing. But I do want you to all understand that the healing starts with you. When I showed that I didn't have a confidence in who I was, it showed up in everything that I did, or even the things that I didn't do for me. You know how you know people who overgive to try to prove their worth? Or you accept breadcrumbs, you accept the nonsense that they give you, you accept the mixed signals that they send you, right? You struggle with anxiety because you want to make sure that you are enough for them. Never mind them being enough for you, right? Have you ever dimmed your light to, 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 to be around somebody? You didn't show up the way that you should have shown up. In order to rebuild your confidence, you have to begin the work to heal. You got to reconnect to who you truly are, dealing with who you are at your core. To put away, like, to put away what everybody else thinks you should be and then begin to deal with who you know you are. You don't have to be loud. You don't have to be dismissive. You don't have to be angry. You just need to be clear about who you are and what you deserve. The only way that you can reclaim your power and step into your healing is by rebuilding your confidence spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. It's about forgiving yourself, releasing the shame, and deciding that you are worthy again. I, if if I could be like brutally honest, when I realized that it was me, when I realized that I was really the culprit in my own life, if I can tell y'all how bad that thing hurt me when I had to reconcile myself back to me, and while it hurt, it was also the fuel. It was also the fuel that made me stand 10 toes down to say this is never going to happen again. And the other part of that is that whole realization, that whole, the heavens opened up and this epiphany, and God began to reveal to me who I am, right? The awakening made me say, I will never go back to that, but I am not going to allow that to hinder me from having the love that I desire. But I couldn't get to the love that I desire until I reconcile myself back to me and back to the one who sent me, who created me. I could just imagine God saying, girl, you was rolling around in the mud. Like my daughters don't roll around in the mud. Girl, get your life together because I want more for you. I don't want you to stay tied to, connected to anybody who doesn't honor you. And I need you to reconnect back to yourself and begin to honor you. I don't ever want to have that experience again. So people are always asking me, like, Kim, so why are you not in a relationship? Because he hasn't found me yet, and I'm going to know him when I see him. Because he going to come and he going to be like, no, you my wife. And I know you my wife. That's how that's going down. And he's going to align with the will and the word of God. And I'm not going to have to contort myself and dishonor myself to be in a relationship with him. And people think it's a light thing. It's not a light thing to enter into a covenant agreement with someone. That's not easy. And it's not because I've been hurt. It's just because I'm now more self-aware and I'm more conscious. So everybody can't like really put one over on an old girl over here. Because I see you. I have to show up willing to be who God called you to be first. And I don't want to have to contend with any and everything from your past. And you don't get to tell a man how to show up. They show up and they just know. They know it's you. You know it's them. And you know the tree by the fruit that it bears. You're not making any excuses. You're not settling. You're not debasing yourself to be in a relationship with them. They honor you. They see you and they know your worth and your value. So, back when I was thugging y'all, when I was thugging it out, I thought the more I raised my voice, I was setting the record straight. Now I know that it is my silence that I speak louder. It is in my prayers. that I see. I don't have to fight to prove anything to anybody. You either know or you don't know. You either know I'm anointed to be your wife or you don't know. And so if that's be the case, and you ain't playing no games, and you know what you up against, and you ain't scared. And I feel like that for every woman that steps into her power. Because once you know who you are, you can't unknow it. And you no longer reduce yourself for the sake of having someone in your life. I told him the other night when I went live, I was like, I'm good over here. Because I got some self-respect and some dignity. And no, I'm not chasing a man. Y'all understand? But that's what healing does. It centers you. It gives you clarity. It says, listen, I know who I am. And I'm walking in rooms, and I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you being so confident in who you are and knowing it. Nobody has to remind you, because when God wakes you up in the morning, you are reminded through your gratitude for all that He's doing for you each and every day, your worth and your value. So yeah, back in my thugging days, still got a bad reputation behind that, but that's okay, because I'm different now. Back in my thugging days, I used to be loud and brash, and I used to open up my mouth. I didn't care, and I'm going to tell you, and you need to know, and blah, 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 blah. God said, pull all of that back. Pull it back. Because I'm going to learn you. I'm going to teach you how to have the softness that you need to have. I'm going to teach you as you heal. You're going to understand your power. And power, electricity is strong. It will tear you to absolute smithereens if you stick something in there. But you don't ever hear it. It's silent. Doesn't make any noise. We have to learn that we are more important to ourselves. We have to understand that as a foundational truth before you can ever begin to pour into somebody else. And I'm just being honest. I'm not making this up. If we're struggling with heartbreak and heartache, we need to begin the journey to healing. You said the stinky me, Willie? I'm going to go back to these comments, because these comments was dope, but I was kind of just in my little flow. Daryl said, I'm going to post this on the thing. Daryl said, vulnerability, you're allowing yourself to let love in and let love out. Yes. Yes, Daryl. Daryl, you're so silly, teacher, preacher. You a mess. God is so good. And Willie says, in the end, we all end up alone. This is real. We all want long-term love. So enjoy day to day, because tomorrow is not promised. We just do not dwell on it. Agreed. I agree. I'm glad you caught my live too, Willie. I am so glad you're here. Daryl said, not being able to forgive and let live is you drinking the poison, hoping the other would die. Forgive and let God. I see my sister Tara on here. Willie says, her power is my power. My power is her power. We are equal. We build each other. And no, we are not perfect, I guess. Oh, and maybe we are perfect for one another. Tara says, not I have gotten so much better with that since 2021. Yes. Correction that we are not perfect. Yes. Yeah, that the thuggish me, Willie, was the stinky me. I loved her too, because she was fighting battles. Let me just tell you, just so everybody's clear. Nobody wasn't gonna violate. I was fighting. I don't mean literally fighting, but my mouth was crazy. And sometimes I don't want to pat myself on the back too much about the fact that I'm not the same person, because it's still in here, right? I've just learned to give it to the Lord as opposed to reacting and responding to things. Right. So the thug is in there. Like, she in there, she's alive and well, and chained up and locked away in a little box, because she only need to come out, when the hair stand up on the back of my neck or something. And I don't play them kind of games. I'm not trying to let nobody let the hair stand up on the back of my neck. If you are that type of person, I'm gonna stay away from you. If you trigger anything in me, right? Because if you're not for me, then why am I around you? Right? If we're not loving each other, if we're not taking care of each other, if we're not speaking life to one another, then what are we doing? What are we doing? If we're not encouraging, hey, Stephen, I see you. How are you? I'm so glad you're here. I am so glad to see you. If we're not loving, if we're not kind, if we're not trying to elevate each other, if we're not trying to serve each other, and this is for friends, this is for family, what are we doing? What exactly is the end game here? What are we doing? Right? Like, if we don't come with the intention to love somebody, if we don't come with the intention to serve, what are we doing here? What? Why are you even talking to them? Why are they in your life? Right? If what you want for them is not good, then why are you talking to them? And I realize that there's people who prey on other people. I got it. They prey. But if I'm not down with that, then it's not going to last long, because I see you. And the only reason why I can see the way that I see now, and it doesn't mean that I can't be duped, or, I'm above this and above. No. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that I see now more clearer than I've ever seen before. And that's the truth. But if I'm clear about where I am and who I am, if I'm clear about that, then there should be less nonsense that goes on around me and in my life. And I think that I only got to this place because I took the time to do the work and heal. So when I do this workshop, this celebration of my sisterhood and the healing, and we do all this stuff, I want you all to be in attendance. I want you all to come. I want you to participate. I want you to be part of it, because I want to begin on the journey with you to get over your heartbreak, so that you can live again, so that you can love again, so that you can invite love in. And I know my brother said he's coming. He's going to come through. So it will be men there. It is what it is. Because I'm not going to not allow them to come in, because men need to be healed too. But it's primarily for my sisters. And in fact, it would be really good for single men. I'm sorry. I ain't trying to sell y'all off in that. It'd be really good for single men to come, because it'll be women who want to do better in their lives, right? I know, just letting you relax a moment with humor, that is too funny. Yeah. Like, men want to be healed too. And when you're in the group with, it's like church, right? You go to church, you coming to church on one accord. You're all coming to worship Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior, right? I mean, I don't know what everybody worships. I don't know what they do. I'm telling you what I do, right? When you come together, the reason why fellowship is important is because when you fellowship with one another, when you fellowship with one another, it builds your strength. But when you're dealing with authentic people, let me say that. Because there's some people that's sitting up in the church house that I promise you, they would sit there and act like they've been holy all their life and the devil is a lie. Like they ain't never did nothing. They ain't never did, those people, I don't mess with those people. I love them, but I don't mess with them. Because I need authentic people around me. And that's what this workshop is all about. It's about becoming your authentic self. It's about owning where you are. It's about speaking life into your life. It's about healing and dealing with the things that have crushed you and hurt you to your heart. And you're finding it difficult to work through this. Love you. You are needed and is appreciated. I is appreciated. I love being appreciated. God is good. But you see what I'm saying? Well, if I can have a vulnerable moment with everybody when the workshop happens, and I've just had quite a few vulnerable moments right here in this live. But if I can have a vulnerable moment, if I could speak my truth, if I'm in the company of other people who speak their truth, and we begin to unearth and unpack that pain and put it on the side where it belongs, if we can do that and come together and enjoy one another and celebrate on one another and love one another, listen, there's nothing better than that. But it all has to be rooted in truth. Because if it's rooted in a lie, then it don't work. It all has to be authentic. That's why people don't bear good fruit, because they still lying to themselves. They not owning their stuff. They faking the funk. They'll run around the whole entire church, child, and roll around on the floor and all of that and praise the Lord and walk out of there and cuss everybody out. That ain't the fruit you're supposed to be bearing. You got to heal. Why you so angry? Why you mad? Why you got up fences? Why have you erected these big fences that some man or some woman is supposed to climb over and it's electrified too? Ain't nobody playing them kind of games. I'm not trying to climb over your electrified fence to try to tell you or show you that I love you. And I'm a woman saying that, and I know men don't want to do it either. And you can't want, and there's women running around doing, I can't meet anybody. I'm like, okay, sis. And sometimes I be knowing in my head why they, but I don't want to say nothing. I don't want to say because they might be big mad. Not that I care if a person get mad, but they're not ready they don't want to hear that truth. It's too much. It would crush them. You have to be ready. You have to be ready to deal with this truth. The truth about who you really are and how you really show up. And you also have to be ready to put down your defenses. Stop trying to prove that you are not something, and every time you open up your mouth, you prove that you really are that person. Hey, Wayne, I see you. What's up, my brother? I see you there. Yeah. Because you're injured and you're wounded and you ain't got time to let nobody else in because you're too busy trying to defend yourself. How does that work? How does love come in when there is an electrified fence around your heart? When you're afraid to have your heart broken again? No. You have to do that work. It doesn't work like that. So while I love y'all and I appreciate y'all and I hope y'all buy a ticket to come to my workshop, especially if you live in the tri-state area. I think people are coming from out of town to come to this, from Georgia and upstate New York, like way upstate, like 6.5 hours away. Baggage is real. It absolutely is. It absolutely is, Wayne. It absolutely is. Baggage is real. And when we don't put it down, I wrote in my book, and I'm going to give you the synopsis in my book, that there is a rickety old bridge that can only hold like 140 pounds or 150, 170, whatever your weight is, but it can't take any of the baggage. Um, you can't take any of your baggage with you across the bridge. It's a rickety bridge. Now, if you will, you can imagine like the Amazon forest and you're going across, a bridge, over, a raging river, right? And they tell you, well, you can't get to your new life, and everything in your new life is across this bridge. Everything that you desire is on the other side of this bridge. And you're like, well, and you're trying to negotiate a deal because the baggage is also the way that you protect yourself. The stuff that you carry in that bag, it's a little more than the fence. It's also the attitude that said, ain't nobody getting over on me. It's also the attitude that says, accept me as I am, or I'm not going to deal with you. That's in the bag. All of that stuff is in. And you're saying, well, can you just take my bags over first? And they like, no, because where you are going in your life, you don't need these bags. Where God is taking you, when He gets you to the other side, you're not going to need these bags. Because on the other side is everything that you desire. But until you leave those bags there, and I can just see us saying, well, you know what? No, because I need this, because this is my protection. And we are sitting over here contemplating, maybe for a week, like, should I really leave my bags? Like, how can I devise a plan to get my stuff over there with me? You don't need that stuff anymore when you heal. But every step that you take, and every step you take away from the baggage, you are being set free. I know you feel like everybody got over on you. I know you feel like, you weren't enough. I know that you struggle with that. I know that your heart is hurting and you don't trust. I know that you want to protect yourself at all cost. I know that you do. What self-respecting individual wouldn't? Except that when you really walk with God, you understand that He begins to fight your battles. And He also begins to help you through His word to reconcile yourself back to yourself. To understand that you are powerful, that you are dynamic, that you are what somebody else needs, but you won't get out of your own way. But you won't do the work to be set free. Some of y'all will stay over there for a whole 3, 4, 5, 7 years. You would stay on this side of the bridge because it's too much for you to bear to leave your bags. And some of you say, I'm just not going. I don't need nothing over on the other side. I got everything I need right here. And guess what? Your dreams, your visions, and your goals of having something healthy and happy whittle away every day that you do not do what you need to do to walk across that bridge. I know you think you're right all the time, but you're not. You don't even want to listen to God's correction, and He set you free. I know you don't know how to shut your pie hole sometimes because you're listening to that voice in your head that's steering you in the wrong direction instead of seeking God. I know the struggle because I lived it. Y'all remember that play, Your Arms is Too Short to Box with God? Well, I had to learn the hard way. Because every time I reached up and act like I was, so fly, I'm going to do it on my own, I got slapped back down. Sit down. So, Kim, how do you know what you know? Because I went too many rounds on my own without seeking God's face. I thought I could do it by myself. I thought I was, I could do this. And then I learned that I couldn't. And now every day I get up and I'm seeking his face for everything because I had to learn the lesson the hard way. He said, no, you won't put those bags down so that you can have a healthy, happy life. You keep praying that this is what you want, but you kept doing the opposite of what you said you wanted for your life. Yes. And unfortunately, Wayne, what happens is we've been on spent 10 years in a battle that we didn't even have to do if we would just let things go. If we would just trust God that everything is going to be all right, we can leave our baggage and we can walk on the other side of that bridge. And then we can burn the bridge because we can never go back. But once you've had a real awakening with God, you never want to go back. Because once you know, you can't unknow the truth. And that's real talk. God is amazing. And so I'm excited about this workshop because I know it's going to be super dope. Super dope. Listen, y'all, I love y'all like I love cooked food. I promise y'all I do. I thank y'all for watching. Y'all are amazing. Y'all got to watch me Monday night. I know everybody's not from Hempstead, but Vic Pratt, the president of the Hempstead School District, is going to be on the line. We're going to be talking about community. We're going to be, he going not on the line. He's going to be in the studio with us at the radio station with us, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. And I would love for y'all to watch me Monday night at 8 o'clock on Bars and Hoops Radio. We're going to be streaming live to Facebook. It's going to be amazing, and we're going to have a good time. We're going to be chopping it up. And I love Vic. He is our best DJ ever. He is the best DJ ever. I love Vic. Vic is so dope. So I cannot wait to talk to him on Monday. And I hope you guys watch, and I hope you purchase tickets to come to my workshop, even if you don't live in New York State, because you could travel up here for the weekend. If I get enough people come up here for the weekend, I'm going to do a whole weekend event. Like I'm gonna plan like dinner Friday night and something Sunday, and then everybody can fly out and go wherever they're going. But if I don't even know if people should take the planes right now. Y'all pray for me. I need Jesus. Okay, because I'm trusting God about everything. So I'm just saying. But I would really love for y'all to come to the event. It's gonna be dope. And the more people I have that come from out of town, if I have enough people, I'll plan an event around my out-of-towners. I'll plan something else for us to do for the weekend. So yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I love y'all. I promise. Like cook food. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful night. And God bless you.